Hello and welcome to Dario's Comic School. And today, someone asked yesterday on a community post, how can I asked how can I help you on a community post, and Rico asked, can you show me how to draw surfaces, hair and fur, and explain a bit light and shadow. He's new to drawing. And where do we start? Well, first of all, there is no right and wrong answer. As you can see, I have different artists here, and every artist has a different way to show things. There are commonalities, but everybody will draw hair, surfaces, and fur in a different way. As you can see, this is a style of hair you can draw, but there's also, let's see, the Danger Girl approach. You can see here very complicated hair or detailed hair. Let me see, blonde hair, like you can see here. And the way you should approach hair is the way you should approach forms. As you can see here, again, hair. We will check out man's hair in a second. No, where can we find it? Well, not a lot of men with hair, but we'll get to that in a second. And here is a pretty different approach to hair, as you can see here. But the way most artists treat hair is they treat it like form. So what do I want to say with that? Let's start with the hair. And I hope you can see this. Okay. And then we'll get to surfaces and fur. So here I was just trying out for the camera. So let's get into this. I've seen a lesson, and the lesson was kind of like, as you can see, you draw a face, but maybe you draw something round and you put here the lips. This is very, very, okay. That's not has been right. Okay, let's put here this. Let's say this is a hot woman. Maybe a bit too over the edge. But now, how would you approach hair? Well, the hair is kind of like, how do you say it? It has volume. It is like a three-dimensional object. I've seen something like this, like a lesson where you can see that the hair flows out, and you have to approach the hair maybe same as you would a three-dimensional object. You know what I mean? Or some round surfaces. Like you can see everything has 3 dimensions. And as I put here my hair, you maybe can treat it as something round. Or maybe you can see it's round like this, or it's shaped like this, but it has always some round spheres in it. You can see. And well, this is a bit of a mess, but I hope you can understand that you could make hair like this. And also it's a great help to look at your favorite artists. Let's see. For example, okay, Kentaro Mura. Like, I'm not so much into the manga hair, but it is legit. Check out how your favorite artists do it. If you're reading whatever comic you take a look at, like just check out and try to understand what they're doing. If you're trying to understand this, let me see if I can put it down. Like, let's say you have a face and she's looking down and she has here her lips, and then her hair comes down here, and from the center of her, what do you say, skull, her hair comes in waves, and you can treat it as just a shape or a three-dimensional shape. And here she has her eyes, and this one's in black and white. And so what the artist is doing, he's like going with the form of the hair, but then also blacking out. Let me show you. Like, he's going with the form, and this is how you could create this. He has very, very beautiful this is just an example. Like, you do it then much much finer, much more refined. But as you can see, like, this could be some of the approaches, and that's just to show how this could be done. It's and different artists will have different ways of doing this. So let's see a bit. Like, you could do it this 3D art style, or you could just put on some of this style, or you keep it flat. Let's see Jane Grace here in the next panel. As you can see, Joe Madureira gives this some three-dimensional form, and then he puts in a few black lines, and the rest is then colored. Same for Quicksilver, so they get not single hair. They are getting yeah, shapes. How do you say? You know what I mean? So let's get to the surfaces. So I was drawing here a surface from my favorite manga, Berserk, from a castle. And I liked very much how he drew these stones. And so it looks a bit much, but all this is, these surfaces, is like a square, as you can see here, a three-dimensional thing. And then he puts in some cross-hatching lines, and those are important. I will show you in a second. Let's put this one here, and then I'll try, like, if there's he puts a stone here. I hope it can be seen. And then he leaves the space here, and he leaves, I'm just marking where I will put this, and these are like the texture of the stone. And then he does a bit like this, like as if the stone, like here, it has this shape from above. Light hits it, so here we have just white, no texture. And then where there is no light, there is shadow. and he curves it a bit to give the stone a certain edged or edgy surface. Like you can do this the way you want. You could put, sometimes I put something like this. Here's an edge, and then here you put some, and then here's another edge. And as you can see, there's a million ways to do this. So what I encourage you is to maybe see how your favorite artists do it, because this one I incorporated. Let's say I draw a sword, and here there's the shiny blade, and some might cross-hatch this way, and some might do something like this. And maybe sometimes it's cool to put very fine dots here, and this indicates that it's maybe a bit rusted, a bit old, as you can see. I will show you in a second a bit better here. You see there are many ways to do this, and therefore it's good to see what surfaces do my heroes do and how do they do that. As you can see here, the leather or the armor gets a light and shadow. What he does is he kind of has a form like this, and light comes from here, and then he puts a shadow here. And here, let's take a brush pen, and maybe you have a black marker and you just create a black spot like that, and that already looks cool. But then he does something like this, and he tries to follow the form with this hatching. What it does is, if you have black here, you try to follow the form. This is why this is here. Yeah, and we're in the shadow part. Okay, light and shadow. Light comes from here above, or light comes from here. So this part gets, I guess, the hardest shadow, and then I could now do this, but the form of the cylinder goes like this. And you could put a dot around here. A lot of people do that. And then maybe here's a bit of a shiny part and some things, you know, where the light is the furthest. You see, you know what I mean. This is why I put down here these muscles. Let me show you again with a smiley. Let's say you have two smileys, and both smileys get sunlight, and this one has a cast shadow. Let's give both a nose and this. And this one casts no shadow, and this one casts a shadow. And this one, you know what I mean, here gets a bit more. You see, this looks already a bit more three-dimensional. So what you have to do when you draw hair, you can draw it flat, and some do just this. Like here is where the light hits, and this is where the light hits, and sometimes you see a bit of the streaks, and then they just do this or this. And then here is the face, and or you know what I mean. And for fur, what can I say? There's a million ways to draw furs. We have here an Arthur Adams where he draws a gorilla, and again hair and fur, and this is the Arthur Adams way. And I have to say, I love how he does this. So the best advice I can give you is study what you like and try to emulate that and find your style. And that is like maybe the advice I can give. Because if I had to draw fur, let's say I have here a furry thing. I don't know what it is. Let's give this some teeth. And some eyes. And as you can see, there are now a million ways I could do this. And that's the question. Like, there's no right or wrong. I could take a thick marker and just do something like this. I could take a fine liner and do something like this. But as you can see, I'm kind of trying to get some shapes, like the light comes from above, and then I'm trying to make the fur three-dimensional. I'm going with a form. I'm not just, you know what I mean? Like, can you feel the form of this, whatever it is? And let's say it has here some eyes, and that's what you do when you ink. Or here, some of it will be hardcore black, so maybe I take the pen, and down here we see just very, very black lines. And there are many ways to do this. Like, let's say we see a shoulder here, then my advice is go with a shoulder, feel the form, and again, Arthur Adams or some people put then sometimes here smaller things, or how can I say, like they will, and sometimes it's good to give then the bottom a harder edge. As you can see, automatically it pops a bit more. And that's kind of how you can do it. I hope some of the questions were answered. Probably not my best video, but I tried. And yeah, I hope things can be seen. We see us.